Dear all, welcome to the course on writing for mass media. Today we are going to discuss on how to write a book. Books are one of the oldest means of media. The popularity of books is still high and the publishing industry of books is gigantic in itself. Through this module, let's discuss on how to write for books. The major themes covered in this module include writing styles, techniques, principles and methods for book writing. The major areas covered include introduction to books, principles and methods of writing a book, techniques of writing a book, styles of writing a book. The subject expert for today is Professor FB Khan. He is a renowned photographer and media expert currently teaching at AJK MCRC, Jamia Millia Islamia, New Delhi, and I am Sakshi Mandwal. Let's first discuss what is a book. A dictionary definition of a book defines the same as a number of pieces of paper, usually with words printed on them, which are fastened together and fixed inside a cover of stronger paper or cardboard. A book holds information, stories or poetry and so on. Depending on the type of information included, books can be classified into two, fiction and non-fiction. Fiction books are those based on fantasies and it could be written in form of novels, poems, prose and so on. Non-fiction books are also another important genre of book and it includes books that are written basically to impart factual information about general things to specific instances like academic disciplines. The writing style of a book depends upon the nature of book that you can wish to write. A fiction is not written same as that of a non-fiction. A fiction can be a world of imaginations of the author, whereas a non-fiction will only have facts and cited materials. Through this module, let's discuss in detail how to write a book. Principles and methods of writing a book. Whether it is fiction or non-fiction, there are some principles that need to be followed while writing for a book. Let's discuss them in detail. These principles will let you guide to how to write a book in the real world. The writing space. Not every writer has the luxury to find cozy places to establish the art of writing. In the initial days, it will be really struggling. There are big writers who started their career even by writing in pavements and coffee shops. Even if you can't find a solitary space to write, you need not worry about that. It is said that a real writer can write anywhere. There are even writers who write in a newsroom with the clattering of keyboards. The writing tools. The writing industry is a booming business. According to the contract between you and the publisher, you will have to submit your manuscript on time. A breakage of contract can lead you into bigger loss. In present times, it may be difficult to find time to write a handwritten copy of what you want to write. Most of the writers prefer to spend their time by writing with computers. These days, most of the publishers demand an electronic copy. Most of the manuscripts are created with the help of Microsoft Word software. Before starting the activity of writing, make sure you have all things necessary for your writing in handy. If you are writing with hands, make sure to carry the following with you: staplers, paper clips, rulers, pencil holders, pencil sharpener, notepads, printing paper, paperweight, tape, bulletin boards, reference works and so on. This is just to ensure that you will not be distracted while writing is going on and you will not feel like to go out in search of these. While using computers, make sure to use an updated one with proper antivirus. Also make sure to upload a copy of what you have written into the cloud from time to time. Always make sure that you are comfortable in your sitting as well. The above mentioned needs are subjective and can vary from person to person, making ideas into smaller versions. Your project may be big and is having bigger ideas in it. but make sure to break the larger ideas into smaller versions. Why is it necessary to break the idea into smaller chunks? For this process, first try to divide your manuscript into smaller parts. By making into smaller parts, it will be easy to work on it more easily. A book can never be written as a whole. The sentences, paragraphs, and pages must be designed accordingly. Later on, these smaller chunks will constitute the bigger image. Keeping up with the premise. Always make sure that your writing is not going away from the premise. Whatever you write, it must have a relation to the premise that you have written. The amount of precision that you have while writing can reflect the quality of your writing. The larger idea of writing. Before standing to write, make sure that you are having a larger idea of writing. This larger idea must be novel and has the ability to hold the attention span of your readers. Try to share this idea with others and understand whether it is making others excited as well. You may fail while writing or will not be able to keep up the pace of it. But always remember, writing for a book is a longer task indeed. The outline construction. This is the most important step to be taken while writing. Without a proper outline, your book will be shallow. Always make sure you have a clear idea while writing. This principle must be followed for both fiction and non-fiction. Without having an outline, you may forget your killer idea. A non-fiction book also should contribute to the outline construction. The agents consider the outline as a compulsory requirement in the proposal. The directions and flows of your writing are discussed through this writing. Even the reading effect of your book can be actually understood from this outline. If you are lost in writing an outline, can be a savior to you. Always make sure to stick onto your outline even if it is only of one page. Make sure that your outline is always maintained. Writing schedule. A schedule is more important than you imagine, especially for maintaining the quality of your work. It will require a minimum of 6 hours per week for maintaining a proper schedule of what you write. Depending upon your convenience, make a pattern of your work schedule and always make sure to stick onto that. Finding the time to write is equivalent to making time to write. Make sure to leave out certain things and maintain time for your writing. Make sure to make writing a habit. Deadline. A deadline is always given by your agent. Make sure to keep up the deadline to avoid confrontations. Moreover, make a deadline for yourself separate from the official deadline. Always make sure to carry on the deadline without any hindrances. Remember that a deadline is sacred. The motivation for writing itself must start from the deadline. Always divide the time like a span of 1 year to equal numbers of weeks and make sure you will cover the topics accordingly. Procrastination. As a human being, you may not always be in a position to keep up your writing schedules and deadlines. Remember that it is okay to procrastinate. At the end of the day, the task of writing should be enjoyable and not a monotonous one. You can take this time out for creating mental images of your writings, but always make sure that you are keeping the sacredness of deadlines. Distractions. In this present world, distractions can be of any form and content. It can hit you at any time. Always make sure that you keep a distance from the distractions. The key to staying focused is by keeping away from distractions. The smartphone is one of the biggest distractions of the present times. Always try to stay away from the distractions caused by it. You can use apps that can block your notifications from mobile phone, including email, social media, browsers, and game apps. They are Freedom app, Focus Writer, Stay Focused, and Write True. Research. Research is an important part of writing. Even if it is fiction, you cannot write out of the blue. If there are technological or historical details in your fiction, research must be done. Non-fiction is all about research. Often non-fiction books are results of your research work in it. Non-fiction books are also made from doctoral thesis, research results, and so on. The resultant feature of non-fiction is, first, the credibility. With proper research, you can easily maintain your credibility as an author. The trust with reader can be maintained or made with the help of a credibility factor. Second, almanacs. These are annual calendar-like materials that holds dates that are usually authenticated by the government. Instead of asking people or going around for information always, go after the safer option by trying to find a government almanac. The information provided in an almanac is authentic. Third, Thesaurus, dictionary and atlas. As a writer, whether it be fiction or non-fiction, a dictionary, thesaurus and map should be handy for you. It is not easy for you to take on hands everything, and these materials can be of real help. The precision and accurateness of data can be ensured by using these. The mundane feel of using same words can also be availed through these. Using atlas can give you information on the continent, country, or even people of different ethnicities. Without a proper research, there are chances that you will receive flack from your audiences. Being a writer. What is it like to be a writer? It is about building confidence by you to call as a writer. Make sure to identify yourself as a writer. You must make a mental channeling to call yourself a writer. Talking back to yourself and building confidence in you can actually enable you to call yourself a writer. The reader. Author is dead. Always make sure to remember this. Your writing must be for the reader and not for you. Always make sure that you keep this in mind and write for the comprehension of the reader and not for yourself. Always make sure this by writing it down on a board or sticky note. This is so important that you should write it on a sticky note and affix it to your monitor so that you are reminded of it every time you write. If you keep on writing by keeping the reader in mind, it will be easy for your agent, editor and publisher to help you across the globe. The general interest of the reader based on the recent circumstances, instance, all can be used while writing for the books. The writing voice. One of the most rewarding acts while writing a book is to find your writing voice. How is it possible to find your writing voice? It can be done with the help of thinking, discussing with people around you, recollecting the appreciation that you have received while writing a book, and so on. The opener. The story should have a good opener. The good opener to the story can make your reader hooked on to your story. They will ask for more and more depending upon the quality of your opener in your story. Every writer finds it difficult to find the right opener. Once you get that right opener, it is going to have a tremendous impact upon your reader. Let's see some important openers mentioned by Jerry Jenkins after getting featured in the New York Times bestseller Surprising Fiction. It was a bright cold day in April and the clocks were striking 13. George Orwell, 1984, non-fiction. By the time Eustace Conway was 7 years old, he could throw a knife accurately enough to nail a chipmunk to a tree. Elizabeth Gilbert, The Last American Man. Dramatic statement fiction. They shoot the white girl first. Toni Morrison, Paradise non-fiction. I was 5 years old the first time I ever set foot in prison. Jimmy Santiago Baca, A Place to Stand. Philosophical fiction. Happy families are all alike. Every unhappy family is unhappy in its own way. Leo Tolstoy. Anna Karenina. Non-fiction. It's not about you. Rick Warren, The Purpose-Driven Life. Poetic fiction. When I finally caught up with Abraham Treherne, he was drinking beer with an alcoholic bulldog named Fireball Roberts in a ramshackle joint just outside of Sonoma, California, drinking the heart right out of a fine spring afternoon. James Crumley, The Last Good Kiss. Non-fiction. The village of Holcomb stands on the high wheat plains of western Kansas, a lonesome area that other Kansans call out there. Truman Capote, In Cold Blood. Classics have some further more interesting openers. Conflict and tension. Conflict is something that every reader is looking forward to. The element of drama is high through conflict and tension. The element of conflict and tension can enhance the reading experience of the readers as well. Even in non-fiction, the conflict element can be supplemented. Tension can be a major factor that further can lead the reader to conflict. Internal editor. There is always an internal editor in all of us, but always make sure that you keep it off while writing. The free flow of imagination will be hindered if you start editing on the spot. Always make sure that you edit only on a later stage of writing. The end. Always be careful of the ending. This is equally important for your non-fiction book as well. A good end doesn't mean it should have a terrible amount of drama and emotions. Just like the curtain falls off in a theatre, the end should be good and memorable. Always be patient while writing the end. The reader should get a chance to enhance the reading experience through the end. In non-fiction, an end usually has the conclusion of the research question or objective. Self-editing. Always make sure that you have the ability to write and edit by yourself. Even if you have an external editor, always make sure that you are your own self-editor. Self-editing can be a difficult task at times because cutting down what you have written by yourself may be painful for you. But always make sure to be the first critique of what you are writing. Remove unnecessary words, use simple words, try to reduce the dictionary usage of the reader, avoid repetitions while writing, avoid overusage of verbs and adjectives, avoid using too much of description and directions for characters. A mentor. Like in any other field, having a mentor can decrease your workload a lot. Just like in any other field, a mentor can guide you to the heights of writing. Proper direction can also be given by the mentor. Always make sure to utilize your mentor to the maximum. Difference in writing a fiction and non-fiction. In this section, let's discuss in detail the difference in writing fiction and non-fiction. Fiction. Always make sure that there is proper illustration. Make plot twists and developments. Arrange them in the proper order. Surprise the reader. Trigger the fresh ideas and imaginations of the reader. Non-fiction. Arrange your points. Make sure to answer and address all these points. Maintain the evidence of your writing. Include citation and sources. A memoir and autobiography can be structured same as that of a fiction. Make chapter titles and subtitles of sections. Techniques of writing a book. The following techniques are highly applicable for fiction, but it can be used for non-fiction as well. Narrative suspense and its creation, thorough description of the narrative, optimum utilization of characters, the usage of character personalities for creating tone and verve, utilization of different types of storytelling viewpoints, narratives and its different levels in story transformation, making sure of conflict element in writing, using not so simple plot line, including complications to the storyline, dialogue writing only in the essential time and quantity, usage of active and passive sense in writing, the element of imagination, unpredictability in the narrative, styles of writing. We cannot say that there is an exclusive style for writing for the books. It is a mixture of all forms of writing, including journalistic. Some of them are narrative, online writing. Styles of writing a story. The different styles of writing a new story are applicable while writing books as well. But the only difference is that a book will be lengthier and it will take time while dealing with it. The forms remain same, but the space and the content quantity will be high. Now let's discuss various styles of writing for books. The narrative. The narrative is another popular form of book writing. It is basically used in fiction writing. Even non-fiction writers at times go for narrative technique, especially anthropologists doing ethnography. A narrative has a beginning, middle and end. It has one of the most common formats for writing. There are different styles of using a narrative. It can start with anecdotes, questions, prologues, flashbacks and letter forms and so on while writing for the books. The flow of the book is dependent upon the narrative styles that are used. Online writing. Online writing is the most popular form of writing. Publishing for the online platform is different from the offline ones. Readers like Kindle and tablets are enhancing it. Long form styles are generally avoided in this kind of writing. Importance is given to the headlines of the story. The popularity or readability of such stories are highly dependent on the number of views an article will get. Beyond that, bulletins and numbers are the constituent factors of such writing. The information provided will have an ease to read if it is given in a bulleted points. These trends set by online platforms are followed even by mainstream newspapers these days. Remember that writing exclusively for online platform, there are chances for the author to skip away the content along with the multiple number of tabs. Publishing on internet can be free or with nominal charges, unlike the print. There are many platforms, especially for pulp fiction. While writing for online books, remember that the attention span of your reader is less and make sure your words can grab them. Conclusion. Dear all, hope you all had a great time learning how to write for books. In the present times, there are many publishers who give free chance for publications. Even online spaces providing opportunities to publish. But make sure that you interact only with trustworthy sources. They can do an intellectual theft of your work or take money from you for publication. The arrival of platforms like Kindle is also giving chances for people to publish. Some of the lessons we studied here will hopefully help you in understanding how to write a book. A comprehensive understanding about various writing principles, methods, techniques, and styles of book publishing were discussed in this module. Hope these will help in awakening the writer inside you. Till the next time, it's a goodbye.